Hi there, welcome to lesson 6, and in this one we're going to start the elevations off. Like with previous lessons, we're going to do these in two parts. The first part being the blocking out, the second part being the rendering. Now on rendering, one thing I forgot to do in the last lesson, I must admit, is just add some people to the plan. So I just want to demonstrate that for me it adds a little bit of scale to things. I think they're absolutely brilliant. I like the way they've got like different options as well, sitting options. Let's just make sure that's on a higher layer than that. There we go. So yeah, I just thought I'd touch on that. Let's just do one more. People. Person sleeping, yeah, let's put someone asleep on the couch. Brilliant. So, in order to do elevations, we need to strike lines from the floor plan like so. Okay, and then what you do is you then strike a line across to create a baseline, and you add floor heights like so, and you basically add detail to the areas where we've then got something within it, like a door, for example. And I like to create the framework initially and then just trace over it. So say the door's 2.1, sorry. Or I might even, Polyline's been a bit funny with me there. Let's lift that to 2.1. And then we can even create rectangles and so on. And then you can almost like delete that line work. Then it would actually be good to, did we create guides? We did there. Let's just do a new layer and we'll call it elevation guides. And then we'll use that to block the elevation out, and then we can use a different, let's then create another layer, elevation line work. We can then use the line work layer to then actually draw the thing up and then turn the guides off. But you might be wondering, okay, well that works for that elevation, but what about other elevations? So a technique, there are more than one ways to do these things, but a technique is to create a block out of your floor plan. The reason you create it as a block is so you can then copy it and then rotate, let's just say 90 degrees. So I'll just do these two because there'll be nothing new being taught for the others. And the reason you want to make it a block instead of just copying it is you want this one being like your master floor plan. And if you make a change, let's just put that chair over there. If you make a change to that, then at least it's being represented there, and then the elevation can keep up with it. Okay. A little reminder as well of the precedent. So it's a very simple linear form. That was a deliberate choice just to make things as simple as possible. So we've got two photographs there that we can work to. I couldn't find elevations online. And it is as simple as, if we draw a baseline like so, and you want that baseline to extend. So let me just make sure it's on elevation guides. You want that to extend the length of the two elevations. You do the same if you were going to do the other elevations as well. And the benefit of that is then you've got this consistent datum line for floor, face, roof, and all that sort of stuff. I want to just change this to a dashed line as well. So let's then copy that up 3 meters. Let's just assume 3 meters floor to floor. Same again, 3 meters there. Let's then strike a guide down like so. And actually, let me just take that all the way there. Let's actually capture all of these openings. This feels a little laborious at first, but once you get used to it, you get used to it, I suppose. Let's just strike that there. Okay. Then we can repeat the same for this other elevation. We've got some stuff in the distance there. I think we will catch that. So they're not on the same line. And then just there. And then same again. So then we want to move to our, well, actually we want to set a nice steady height for that. Now that looks higher than 2.1. That looks like probably like a 2.5. So let's copy that up. 2.5. And then same for that. And obviously these floor plans are aligned because there's a school of thought where maybe the first floor plan could go directly up like that. And then we've got more guidelines that we can drag down. So let's just, it's just about, the key thing is about selecting an accurate way of doing it, an accurate methodology basically. So now we've got all the openings set, and then we've got that profile there that goes across. We won't worry too much about this this canopy. We just want to elevate the building. So then if we go to line work, let's just make sure they're all on guides. It does say mixed. Okay. So then notice that if I just strike this line down, that's the only part of the building that's on the upper floor. You know what we will do though for now, actually, let's just draw the ground floor. So first things first, actually, let's change that layer to, no, actually, let's just go for that. There we go. I want to make that a little bit thicker. let's go to, let's make a new shape. Elevation line work. And I just want to make it chunky for now, just so I can, there we go, just so I can see it clearly. Right, lovely. And then it's as simple as that. We go back to the example. You can see that that pillar there is kind of like part of the opening. Let's have a look. Like so. Have we then got like, it does look like, well, I suppose that canopy does stretch the length of the building there, doesn't it? But there is an overhang there as well. What I want to do, just to freestyle it a touch, for this here, I'm just going to draw a rectangle, and that's our little canopy that covers this seating area here. Just make sure that goes all the way. So that's solid, and then we've got an opening there. Oh, these not. Oh, it's okay. These things happen. So it's about editing the path now, because it's a polyline. You need to edit the path. Although what I will do is don't get rid of that and just go again. So that's our big opening there. Okay. And then again, you repeat the process for this one, where we create a new baseline like so. And then you just repeat the process. But what we'll do is we'll focus on this one elevation. And at the end of this course as well, you'll find this file shared, and what I will do is I'll leave all these guidelines on, so you've got them to refer to. So we've got our ground floor blocked in. If you wanted to draw the canopy, it looks like it's a slightly thinner profile. You could draw in something like that, but we're going to just say we're just going to keep it simple. Then what we could do is start drawing our guides from our first floor. To keep it mega organized, let's go elevation guides. Let's just call it elevation guides 2. Right. So we can turn that layer off. Set that to dashed elevation guide 2. And then what we can do is, to make it abundantly clear, 2 representing, like, let's say first floor. We could even put them on 2. There we go. And this isn't like an industry standard or anything. This is just a way of working methodically. If you work methodically, you'll work accurately. Then we want this to be the elevation line work. We want to go chunky. And then that's where we get that overhang. I like the way we're getting a bit of a snap there. That'll do us. So that is clearly that overhang there. Oh, I've just noticed as well that we've got, if I just turn that one on, we've missed that line there. Let's just draw that down. That just became evident from the photograph, that. There we go. And those windows, they come straight to that line as well, so they come right down. Let's use the rectangle for speed. What's the shortcut? RE. And there we are. You can see how we're drawing that up essentially. Let's then turn that off. I would then probably make another layer and just call it, again, elevation line work 2. And then this will form some of the detail that goes within it. So we've got joints, you know, like panel joints and all that sort of stuff. Let's go back down to a nice, I don't know, just a 0.5 grey maybe as well. Don't mind that. No, that's a bit too. Line work 2, black line. And it just looks like the joints are in line with windows. We don't want to obsess too much. Not for the purpose of this exercise. But you can see the way that starts to add a bit of character to the elevation. Have we got a little snap point? No, we'll make one. And I've made sure that I'm creating on the right layer and the right style before I draw the first line, because then every line thereafter is where it should be. Let's copy that over. Now we could use a hatch, but this needs a bit more of an accurate touch. Same again, I suppose we could just strike a line across, probably could have done that. I'm just using lines here to give me a snapping point. And what I'm going to do actually is just make that initially, because I will then copy that across. Can I hold shift? Yeah. Oh, but it's not snapping there then. That's not the end of the world, because I can then just snap randomly and then just adjust like so. Okay. Let's actually go back to styles, shape, and then elevation baseline. I want it to be really chunky. That's what I'm talking about. And then can we use a rectangle? Let's go styles, shapes, a ground hatch. For when you represent the ground under an elevation or a section, I like to just do a nice simple 45-degree hatch. There we go. Not triple oblique. Oblique compact. That'll do us. Take the stroke off. And we'll just do a grey. Oh, that's too compact. Let's edit the style to just oblique. There we go. I'm being a bit fussy there, but that's... Just checking. There we go. So I've just went to transform, scale it by half. That's better. Let's also just lighten that grey a touch. And let's set that to line work 1. The base to line work 2. Just so it sits behind like that. And there we are. So you can see how then you would rotate. Let's just... Oh, need to copy it first. So you can see how you can then rotate that. And the position of this doesn't really matter as long as your guide's in the right place. And what I mean is there's no set distance it needs to be along or up, because all you're doing is striking lines down. And then when we get to the sheet point, we can then just extract these elevations as little views that we can drop on sheets. But the important thing to note here is that with these guides, we can create a really nice, consistent set of datums for the building. So you know that all your ridge lines are the same, top of window, top of first floor, top of ridge, I didn't say ridge, baseline, all that sort of stuff. Even the hatch, you can copy over and snap to the elevation like so. So that is session 1, blocking out the elevation. And I'll catch you in the next one where we're going to really add life to it. Texture, colour, and a little bit of decoration, people, furniture, and all that sort of stuff. So I'll see you there.